And like Darth Vader kind of looks stupid.
Darth Vader is cool. Just gonna say, Mari Krombu Weebs, my name is Cole, his name is Mike, his name is Jay. We like anime, and this is episode 129 of Anipro. And on this week's episode, we are reviewing the manga, if you could call it that, Blue Box.
Pretty sure we can call it a manga.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think we can. I mean, if you want. And we're also traveling back in time. Ooh, it's gonna be a spooky
No, but we already
episode.
reviewed Link Click, Cole.
Ooh, everyone look out. Here I come. Gross.
You know what I've always found funny, Cole? You like leave the second half all mysterious so the listeners have no idea what's happening.
I know.
Meanwhile, like the description and like the YouTube video, literally at this point, there'll be like a thing on the screen that says, yeah, and the thumbnail will all be like, this is what we're doing.
I know.
It's just
I do it for myself.
Relic.
Yeah.
I know.
I do it for myself. Yeah, it's a relic. It's a relic of like how shows used to be.
Yeah.
Audience retention doesn't matter now, because if you read the description and you enjoy and you're interested, then you're gonna watch it.
Cole, I've got a secret for you. Nobody reads descriptions on YouTube.
I was gonna say nobody reads, period. So then that it also extends to the description.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you're good.
Well, I mean, stick around and see what we're doing after the break. But before the break, we're gonna review Blue Box. Like I said, it's a manga, allegedly, and.
Why is it getting these strays fired at it from just? I don't understand
Cole,
why it's not a manga.
I think Cole read Red Sphere.
Yeah, I read Red Sphere, the true manga.
Yeah.
The one about that whole thing that happened in the If
someone could draw a fake cover for Red Sphere, any listeners out there that are like artistically inclined could draw like a fake cover of Red Sphere, the spin-off of Blue Box.
What would Red Sphere be? Okay, what does the girl play in Red Sphere?
She plays basketball.
No, she's got to play something else. She does discus.
Yeah.
She does discus.
Yeah.
And the boy does
lawn darts.
No.
Professional lawn darts.
Tennis.
No.
But he's kind of like a badass.
Like horseback polo.
Okay, I was going to say he's like
he's a
bad boy.
He's a jouster.
He's a jouster.
Jouster.
He's an American gladiator.
Oh, he's a Roman gladiator.
He's a
sent from the past to the future.
Isekai?
Yeah,
it's a reverse
isekai.
Reverse isekai. Whoa.
Or it's still just an
no.
isekai,
I mean, it could be. I mean, if she's doing discus, if she's doing discus, it could just take place in like
the past.
It takes place. Why aren't there ancient Rome animes? Anyway,
isn't there? There's that one. It's about the bath houses. I can't remember what it's called. The manga is always very impressive when you look at it. It has some Roman name. I don't know.
Like
I thought Jay might know what it is.
In it for sure.
I probably do, and I'm just blanking right now.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay. I haven't been in the anime scene all week. I've been busy with other stuff.
I've been out of the anime scene for years.
I don't even watch anime anymore, man.
I haven't watched anime this week. I've just been reading Berserk. Like that's it. That's all I've done.
That's untrue. I watched Mushoku Tensei and that's it.
I watched Mushoku Tensei and Sound Euphonium, but I haven't watched anything since. That was Sunday.
I was Sunday.
That was a week ago. Yeah, my addiction is strong. But you know what, boys? You know what?
It's crazy how fast you caught up on that, honestly.
I'm caught up.
Yeah.
And man, Mike, you're the only one I can like talk to about this.
No, the other rip. Yeah.
Like the end of that one chapter after Miura dies. Man, it's like
it hits, man. I posted in the Discord when I read that paddle, and I was like, man. And it kind of hits partially because like the staff, like he'd already died, then they still had time they were like drew it after posthumously.
Yeah, they finished it for him.
Man.
And like
that
what
single tear. That single tear.
Oh man, I wasn't expecting Berserk to like hit in my feels as much as it did. I sent Mike a panel yesterday that's involving Casca, and it was like, oh my goodness gracious.
Was that the
feels
the high five thing?
No. That was a slap. That was a slap.
No. It's a high five to the face.
It's a high five to the face. It was someone's face was intercepted by someone else's hand, open hand. Yeah. Man, what a good manga though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, here we go. Add this to the bingo card. Cole with the hot take.
The
Berserk.
hottest.
Cole gushes
Hottest of
about
takes.
Berserk. Put
Berserk,
it on the bingo
really
card.
good. Really good.
You know, I'm jealous
and
of you.
You should be.
You have a manga you really like, and you can talk to someone about it. I have something I really like that I read all the time, and I got no one. It's just me.
Cope.
What's that? The beginning after the end?
Yeah.
Cope, Jay. Seethe, even.
I feel like you just need to go look around. I feel like
No.
lots
I mean,
of
there are
fans in the
people on
beginning after the end.
Reddit. Like, I can go to the Reddit and that, but like, that's not fun.
But you don't interact with
there.
people. You're lurking.
Yeah.
You gotta put yourself out there. Say like, "Hi, I'm Jay Garrity and Sama.
Yeah,
I'm here to talk about."
Fans are ravenous, man.
He doesn't want. Yeah, he doesn't want people to swarm him. Our fans are ravenous. They'd be like, "Oh my god, it's Jay Garrity."
No, that's not it. It's just like, if you meet someone because they are a fan of a certain thing, like that's it's kind of not the same as like getting into something with like someone you're already friends with, because you understand them on a more personal level.
There's two sides to it, right? I mean, like Jay, you and I met because we're both fans of anime, and it turns out we were both fans of quintessential quintuplets and stuff. But on the other hand, yeah, I like to start something with one of your friends and both be interested. Yeah, I get what you're saying. But Jay, I have a solution to this. I have a solution to your problem.
I think it's a good solution too. I have a feeling I know what it is.
Yeah, what is it?
You should read Berserk.
Yes.
I
feel like that would solve all your problems here.
All my problems, every single one of them.
I think it would. Jay, I'm serious. Everyone, if you haven't read Berserk, this is coming from me, the biggest like asshole in the world. Not
Factual.
Really.
Oh, sorry,
okay.
No.
Oh, no. Okay, I'll take it. Read Berserk. From the bottom of my heart, it's so good. It's really good.
Is it better than March Comes In Like a Lion?
No, the anime March Comes In Like a Lion. The anime is good. I would say it's on par. Like at this point right now, like they're both taking up equal space in my
in your brain
zeitgeist, Colegeist.
Cole, I think I want you to learn from this and be less scared, less intimidated by beloved properties going forward. I feel like that's the lesson to be learned here.
I will keep this in mind, and I will learn nothing.
I think the lesson to be learned here, Cole, is when people recommend things to you, it usually is because they think you'll like it.
Yes.
Yeah. Unless it's One Piece, then I won't.
That one's next.
I won't learn my lesson about that one.
I'm still waiting for the day Cole like gets into One Piece and he messages us and he's like, "Hey, have you checked out this like manga called One Piece?
Yeah,
like it's really good."
I feel like he'd like One Piece. One Piece is the thing.
One Peso.
Since you brought up One Piece, I've been watching the latest batch of the dub episodes that just dropped.
Yeah,
and I'm like 2 episodes away from Gear 5, and I'm very excited. Man, Wano is so good.
It's so good.
Is so good.
It's so good. Like, I remember reading the manga weekly, and you know, a lot of the parts are just like set up, but like if you let Oda cook, man, does it deliver.
Yes, and you're just always surprised with Oda because I don't know why I'm surprised every time, but he just like brings up things. The man's like the master of foreshadowing and just like weaving these intricate threads, and you're like, oh, that'll never happen, that'll never matter, and then it does, and you're like, what is going on?
And like, or like he'll like not really retcon something, but he'll like soft retcon something, and like despite the fact that you've thought a certain thing for like over like 200 chapters, it'll still feel like it makes sense when he does it, and it's like, how did he do this? How did he make me think that like something was one way for this long? And then turned it on me, and it still makes sense, and I'm still into it.
Yes, Drums of Liberation, stuff like that. The even just as simple as the I'm trying to think of the name that the rubber fruit, the gum fruit,
the gum fruit, like what it is.
Yeah. Even stuff like that, and like the world government. It's like, what? Come on, Oda.
How are you doing this?
Yeah, I don't know. It's bizarre. It's bizarre and
Berserk?
awesome. And I love it.
Look.
Cole
If you want to read a manga that like has some of the best foreshadowing and world building,
Read Berserk.
go read One Piece.
Oh.
Or alternatively, I'm gonna say the anime is also incredible as well.
Yeah.
Probably want to watch One Piece though for the most part.
I think
I watched it the whole way through with not One Piece.
The best way I can put it is if you're fine with like how the pacing of the episodes go, the anime is really good. It's a really good adaptation of the manga. But at the same time, if you want to read the manga, that's phenomenal too. They're both good.
Yeah, the thing is with the anime is you just got to be like willing to skip some of the stuff that gets really repetitive. Like the if you skip the recap and the OP every episode, you save like 7 minutes every episode.
The OPs are so long in that show.
It's 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
I had the OP on when we were watching the other day, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just quickly go grab a drink or something like that. And then I come back downstairs. I'm like, it's still
going. Yeah. But like those OPs are really well animated nowadays. Like it's insane how good they look.
One Piece we've talked about it before, but One Piece has Toei's really stepped up the game with One Piece lately. It's almost like they realized they had like this incredibly beloved franchise that people love spending money on.
Yeah.
And we're like, hang on a sec. I know what to do.
Yeah. Because like Sailor Moon.
Yeah, exactly.
And
or
Mike,
Dragon Ball Z.
You were talking about how in the anime you're in Wano and how Wano's so good and dots are being connected. And in the manga, it's like that too. Like things that were introduced like long ago are now coming out and are being like like having its own resurgence. And it's like, whoa, I'm in. I can't.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Yeah. Like even just the obvious one that is like kind of blew my mind is what's the heck's the samurai guy's name that they meet him in Dressrosa? No, they meet him in Punk Hazard.
Oh, Kinemon.
Yeah, like that's nuts. They meet him in Punk Hazard, which means he'd already conceived. Well, even Zoro meeting what's his name? That swordsman guy,
Mihawk
in Thriller Bark, the zombie swordsman that he gets his sword from there.
Yeah,
and he was from Wano. And then that comes back like 600 episodes later. It's like, what is going on? Anyway, we're gonna like, literally bore
like
to tears.
Even real quick, even like Luffy's deal with Law like happened like in on Zoa, I think the arc was, and that's like right before Whole Cake, which was a long thing.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah. They bring it back, man. They bring it back. And speaking of bring it back, hey Cole, how you doing?
Hey, I'm back. I'm back, baby. No. I mean, hey, Mike and I gushed about Berserk. You can gush about stupid One Piece.
Is there something you and Jay can quickly gush about and leave me out? Because I feel like that's only fair at this point.
Jay, what can you and I gush about?
Mushoku Tensei has been absolutely amazing.
It's been pretty fire. Yeah, it's been really good.
The Whole Cake, you watched the most recent episode, right?
Of course I have.
About like how he needs to go and do the thing, but like
he's got to go do the thing, but he's got to stay home.
But he's got to stay home
thing.
Because he's got another thing.
He's got another thing to take care of.
And he's being told to stay because he'll regret it if he doesn't. But he's like, I gotta do the thing.
But he's got to go do the thing because he's going to regret if he doesn't do the thing. But he's going to regret if he doesn't stay to deal with this thing that's also at home. You know, the thing.
Yeah, the thing.
I actually cannot tell if you guys have watched it or not.
Oh, we've watched it.
We've watched it. Yeah, because we don't want to spoil it.
Look to the thing. Look to the thing. Okay, that's enough.
Yes,
that's enough.
That was just simply too much.
Yeah.
We have actual business to attend to. We have a manga to review. Now, Jalian, my good friend, Mr. Jalian.
Yes.
What manga are we reviewing? Even though I already said what manga, but that was a long time.
Well, I appreciate you giving it to me, but since it was Mike's actual suggestion, I'm going to throw it to him.
I thought it was yours.
I'm gonna throw it to him.
I was. If you want, Jay, you can take it. But I
no. It was your lovely recommendation.
Yes.
So I'm gonna throw it to you.
Us here at AniPro, we are diplomatic, if nothing else, and we love to hold each other accountable to do their work. Which is why it is my sworn duty to introduce y'all to Blue Box.
Mhm.
It was Jay. I am sorry. I know that Jay's a big fan of this manga, so I guess it was just a Freudian slip type of thing.
Cole also read it and was like, man, this is so bad. It must have been Jay's recommendation.
So it's funny that Jay says that. Okay, so Blue Box. It's a manga by an author known as Koji Miura.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a Jump manga. It's pretty popular. It's getting an anime, which is all of these things are relevant to why I put this forward as a review. All three of us had read it before, which which kind of made it a bit of a weird choice for a review candidate, but I thought it was timely and it's a good one to talk about. And there's enough substance here to talk about for sure. Essentially, the story revolves. It's your classic love triangle. There's a boy, the girl he likes, and the girl that likes him. That he doesn't realize, and they all like each other in some way, and it's very interesting.
And they're all
okay. Make more.
Which
work
version did you read, Cole?
Yeah, that's I think Red Circle you're thinking.
Yeah,
of.
I think you're reading Red Sphere.
Yeah, and that's Red Circle. Yeah.
There's
69
but anyway,
in Red Circle. Yeah.
So the actual synopsis here on AniList is Taiki is on the boys' badminton team at Sports Powerhouse. Amai Junior and Amai. No, that's just your favorite artist.
No, Amer.
Okay. Anyway, MC Kun is on the boys' badminton team at generic sports high school, and he's in love with basketball player Chinatsu Kanu, the girl of his dreams. The older girl he trains alongside every morning in the gym. One spring day, the relationship takes a sharp turn, and thus begins the brand new series of love, sports, and youth.
Whoa!
So the cool thing is that he's if you like sports stuff, he's a badminton player and she's a basketball player, and then the third interest is a gymnast.
I like that you say if you like sports, he plays not a sport.
Going hard to the badminton.
Wait,
badminton
hold on.
is not a sport.
You need to elaborate on that one. You lost me there. You lost me there. How is it not a sport?
It's a meme. Shazena, my wife, she played like very high level badminton at our small rural high school.
Okay.
Do with that information what you will. Whether or not how high level, rural. Yeah, we're grading on a curve here.
Yeah.
She was pretty good at badminton is the point. And she took it quite seriously. So I always tease her by saying, badminton's not a real sport.
It's not.
She gets very upset.
Okay.
Very
badminton's a sport, obviously. You watch it in the Olympics and it's very high level. Badminton's just one of those sports where like you can just get by with just like knocking the birdie back and forth. And it's like, this is fun badminton in quotation marks.
Yeah. But like this main character here would destroy you.
Yeah.
Like Shazena destroys me whenever we play badminton. The cool thing about this manga is that it's quite, and I'm sure we'll get into this, but it's quite, the sports in it are done incredibly well, which I really approve and enjoy. I don't know what the actual review structure is supposed to be here, but some background stuff.
That's where I come in. That's where
Cole
I
comes in. The progenitor of the podcast.
The progenitor of the podcast and the one who's going to tear this manga limb from limb.
With the one ring to rule it all.
With the one ring to rule them all. All of you deceived. No, let's talk about characters first. So let's go into a manga like this. Our characters are important, right? We've got our main boy. We've got Taiki, who's just just an earnest boy who really likes badminton, really likes his senpai. He's an achiever. He goes for his goal and he's gonna work hard to get it. Just your classic shonen cinnamon roll.
I feel like he's your classic cinnamon roll, but I feel like he has a little bit of enough personality to keep him interesting to me. He's not a bland generic self-insert protagonist in the sense that a lot are. Like he's driven, he has doubts about himself, he's confident at the same time. He feels like a really believable person, and I enjoy that about him. He definitely feels like a believable middle schooler, I guess is what I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, like I don't mean cinnamon roll to sound like a negative take. Like he's just like he seems like a good kid, like a really nice young boy.
Earnest is a word I would use.
Yeah. I think
Ernest
I did
goes
use
camping. You might have. Yeah.
He's a Boy Scout.
He's a Boy Scout.
Yeah.
Now, Jay, what do you think of Taiki?
I mean, yeah, he's like, I do like how he is portrayed in the manga. I think he's a very straightforward, like go-getter kind of guy.
Dare we say Ernest goes camping?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But like I do like I do like how he's I feel like the majority of his character and what I like about him revolves around how the story works, because like he's not, I don't think that the story really is a very character driven piece, but more just like a relationship driven piece, if that makes sense. Like a lot of his goals and a lot of his aspirations uh revolve around the girl that he likes. Like he wants
or
to
his
get
or his sports aspirations.
well, he wants to get good at sports because he wants to be on the same level as Chinatsu.
Okay.
Right?
I'll give you that one.
He want like, and he wants to be with her, obviously, and that's like basically his main goal. And so like the first thing that he's told at the beginning of the manga is like, you're like you're not really that good at your sport, whereas she's like one of the best. She doesn't even know your name, and that kind of thing. Like, so it starts off kind of like that typical perks of being a wallflower kind of thing, where he's just kind of the average first year high school student,
which is I think how he kind of sees himself, right?
Yeah. Now, speaking of she, I think we can move on to our next our co-lead in this, and that would be Chinatsu Kano, who is
the basketball
who's the basketball player, the romantic interest of her, the senpai.
She's a year older than him.
There is more of a mysterious air to her in this early stuff, I'll say. Like, we don't know how she feels. There's kind of hints through the first 3 volumes that we read where maybe she has feelings towards certain characters, but we don't really get that resolved in these 3.
It's pretty clearly, I would say, almost more than hinted at, but not quite fully stated, I would say.
Yeah. It is a bit of a slow burn though.
Yes. A bit
in terms of the relationship. And I can't really talk about how it goes, but it does go places. But like in these first chapters, she is much more driven by her sport than anything else. Like she stays in where she is because she wants to stay with the team she's on. She says that like she doesn't have time for dating because she wants to focus more of her time on the sport, which like there is that does bring an air of mystery, because there is a little thought that she has regarding that that relates to the relationship. So like she thinks she understands relationships more than she actually does.
I think a common theme in this manga, and we can talk about this a bit later, but I think a running theme amongst these characters is that they all have this goal that they're focused on, and they're kind of missing what their heart actually wants, and they're kind of lying to themselves a little bit. Which is, I that's how I sort of see these characters, is they all have their thing that's obviously the thing that's driving them, and then they have their secondary thing that's like actually pushing them forward.
Right.
I think for me, these characters are more simple than that, and I think it's more just like they're used as a medium to tell this story of balancing like extracurriculars with relationships.
Oh, could be. Yeah. It's just how I see it.
No,
just kind of to Mike's point, there is a specific like scene involving our next character, Hina, where like one of the side characters is like, Hina, why do you look so upset? She's like, what? I'm not upset. And to Mike's point, yeah, like they don't really even realize how they're feeling at this point in the manga.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and they do, like, one thing that I kind of push back on that too is that Hina, who I guess we should introduce, is the gymnast friend. I think she's like a childhood friend of Taiki here.
That's kind of how she comes off.
It's the impression. She's the childhood friend, and Chinatsu's like his dream crush.
His crush, yeah.
Right. Yeah. She kind of has this little scene where she seems upset about something, and then she also says, "No, I don't want to feel this way." So she knows it, but she doesn't want to know it.
Well, I think it's more that like she doesn't want to feel that way because she knows that he likes someone else, and she doesn't want to get in the way of that.
Classic love triangle trope.
Yeah.
I feel like these three characters are super strong, and that's one of the strengths of this story.
Yeah. So I should say, like, who is Hina? Hina is she's the gymnast friend, childhood friend, we assume, of our main character. The thing about Hina though is that she is like established as like a prodigy, it seems, where the other two are like very good, and Chinatsu is kind of the ace of the basketball team, but like Hina is like, everybody's like, oh, your dad was an Olympian, you're gonna go to the Olympics, you're gonna represent us on a national stage. And she like, she's that type of character who kind of like plays it up for everybody. She's kind of like plays the role of the Himidari a little bit. Like she's kind of like, oh yeah, I'm Hina, of course I can do it. Yeah.
Or every time that Taiki gets caught staring at her too, she'll be like, oh, you're staring at me, pay up 3,000 yen.
Yeah. 3,000 yen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like Hina.
Comes off very confident. Yeah.
Very confident, yeah. And perhaps she's faking her confidence to hide something. Boo, boo. I don't know. It's just a trope.
Very tropey. Very tropey. This
very tropey. I mean, it's a love triangle. The love triangle in and of itself is a tropey thing.
Yeah.
But Jay, Hina, why is she best girl?
She's not, but I understand why you think
Jay would
that
never
way.
agree with that take. We know it's Chinatsu for Jay.
It's Chi.
But he's Chi. He calls her Chi.
Oh my god,
wow. That's her nickname in the manga. But anyway,
yeah. He's a little there.
Yeah, no, like she's basically the Mary Jane in this. Like she comes off like the popular like upbeat confident girl, but she's got that like interior that's much more dare soft. I say fragile and soft.
Soft, squishy.
She's kind of, as Cole alluded to in the beginning of this, she's a little mysterious. Like it's kind of, you don't necessarily know exactly what she's thinking. You don't necessarily know her like inner monologue at all. Where I feel like you get a lot more inner workings of Hina early on, at least.
If I were to play Insider Baseball, I feel like if the manga were axed, she was meant to be like the default partner that he would have ended up with.
Hina?
Oh,
yeah.
Hina.
Are you sure about that?
See, that's one thing I want to talk about with this, the love triangle of this, as we're talking about characters. So I feel like I could see it going either way.
The reason I say that is because like the manga is mostly about his developing relationship with Chinatsu. And earlier on, they're not really like in a relationship, but more just like there are circumstances that get them to interact, but they don't like, he likes her, but she doesn't really feel that way about him, or she doesn't know. Whereas she, like Hina, does actually have feelings for him.
Yeah, but he doesn't have feelings for her.
Right, but I think that like it would have probably turned into like that Toradora situation of it's not like
that's a big recommendation. If you enjoy Toradora, it's kind of essentially the same plot line. This is a very, like we were saying, very tropey manga, and maybe we're getting into, I don't know what the next discussion point is here. But
I just want to listen. I just want to talk about the other senpai, Kengu Haru
senpai,
and how I hate him.
Why?
Okay,
because he's so goddamn mean.
He's just a senpai.
He's mean. He's always like, it's 15 matches this month. Not one win for you. I guess it was a good warm up for me, though. It's like, what? Why the hell are you being such an asshole?
He's just teasing him.
He never says anything positive to my boy.
Cole, you
Taiki.
got to keep reading it.
No, I'm sure, but I'm not going to.
I think that he's just playing the role of like the senior who busts his chops.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
think he's just busting his chops.
Yeah.
There is a point in the manga too where they say like, oh, like he sees like something in you, Taiki. That's why he treats you the way that he does. But still,
it's like how Cole's mean to me and Jay. It's because it's iron sharpens iron. He sees potential in us, right?
It's called tough love, Cole.
Yeah. That's
shut up and let me finish my thought that I was going to say.
You?
I don't remember what it was though, so that's okay. We'll move on.
No, it's okay.
Oh, you were saying like it was like Toradora, and
it's a very tropey thing. It's almost impossible to have a love triangle and not have it be tropey because it's built on it's tropes on tropes on tropes. It's a trope pyramid or trope triangle if you want.
More a trope box. A blue box,
that's right,
if you will.
And essentially the gimmick here, which sets it apart and makes it keeps it interesting, is the sports stuff.
And I mean, I don't know why we're tiptoeing around this. This is like an integral part of the plot, or the setup of the story.
That she lives with him.
That Chi as Jay,
Chinatsu.
Yeah,
Chi lives with Taiki for various reasons. Apparently,
her parents went away.
Their respective
like first chapter
mothers were basketball teammates in high school, so they're like family friends, but they didn't know that they were family. I don't know. It's a little shoehorned in there.
Don't look too deep into that. Yeah.
It's a little shoehorned in that these family friends have never like
interacted
each
before.
Other. Yeah,
they never had a play date.
Well, I think it's more like his mom played basketball with her mom. So like they're friends, but like the whole family, I don't think is really friends.
Yeah, right. But like to send your daughter to, but
I don't know. We have anime where the parents are completely absent, so at least they got acknowledged in this one.
They tried. They tried to do it, and I mean that's a nitpick. It feels
more
a
just
little
like a contrived way to get this situation to happen.
Exactly.
Listen,
but I want to talk about
isekai. I'm not going to complain about this contrived. Introduction. Yeah.
You know what? I wish one of them got hit by a truck.
Cole really hates this manga.
Yeah. Let's talk about production. So in this case, it would be like the art style.
Yeah.
I do like this art style in this. Actually, it's kind of refreshing. It's like messy but nice. Do you know what I mean? Like it's good but not like polished. There's something about it that's very like
it has kind
real.
of like a youthful amateurish charm to it.
It's I know what you're trying to say, and it's so hard to describe it. Like when we did the review for Chain Soldier, I said it was bubblegummy. That's kind of the vibe I get. This just feels very clean, but not polished at the same time. Like it's
like somewhere between something like on one hand, we've got Chain Soldier, which is like pure bubblegum. And on the other hand, we've got something like Attack on Titan, which is like almost not good.
Yeah.
It's like somewhere in there, you know?
It almost feels a little shoujo-y, art style.
A little bit. I think that
there's flavors of it.
I think that the style really does fit the themes and subject matter of the story, of youth, of growing up, and of like the relationships between the two characters. Like the girls are cute, the boys look cool, and like I think like the action shots are great. And
that's what I was gonna say. Is like the art style really lends itself well to honestly, it's like a perfect match for the sports and romance genre, because there's two types of panels in this that go hard every single time. And it's either the shot of one of the people doing an awesome thing in sports, those go really hard, or it's the shot of our main guy there, Taiki. Yeah, our main guy there, and he like looks at Chinatsu or something, and it's just a full page panel of just them, and it's just like it's just okay, that's exactly what you'd see when you're a middle school boy looking at your crush. She just looks so beautiful, you know, and you're just
it's just bubble gum, just my heart. I have diabetes.
It's sugary sweet. Yeah,
but it's not It's not bubble
It
gum.
is, but it isn't. Yeah,
it
no,
is,
there's
but it
something.
isn't.
If
It's a weird
you know,
one.
you know. If you know, you know. You know.
It's really
it
nice.
feels.
I like it.
Honestly, the way I would describe it is it feels like cloud art. Like it's so fluffy when it needs to be, but like it gets like gritty and like thunderstormy when.
Yeah. Because there
I
are
kind of like
dark.
that, Jay.
Yeah, there we go, Jay. Yeah,
that's pretty good.
It's like,
I like that.
It's like a weather system blowing through. Yeah. Which, speaking of, we're getting a good one right now.
Are we? I can't
hear
see.
some-
I got
hear
no
some
windows
thunder
in
out
here.
There was hail yesterday. It was kind of nuts.
Yeah, they got
Hail?
hit with hail. Yeah.
I wish my car would get hit by hail again. Then I could actually get it
Write it off.
fixed.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyway, the art and
Mhm.
I feel like the
I
art
like the
is
art.
one of the high points of this for
Mhm.
sure.
I agree. I do agree. Yeah. No, I mean,
And I think
when you
like.
Go ahead, Jay.
Sorry. Before we move on to something else, I will say like the thing about a sports manga is that like you really need to have a good, you need to have a very descriptive art style to be able to like
Mhm.
show the action, and make it make sense to the reader.
There's action and
Mhm.
movement to the panels, which is
and
which
I
is
think
good
that
in
I think
something
that like
this.
the way it is, both the paneling and the art are laid out, make it feel like the
Yes.
sports action is understandable, present, and very, very hype.
To this manga's credit, I read a lot of like actiony type stuff, and I'll frequently have to reread stuff because I'll be like, okay, what the hell just happened? I did not have to reread a single panel in this because it's so clear what's happening, and it's all done very well.
Yeah. Speaking of good panels, have you guys read Berserk?
There's a few in there.
Our next segment on today's show, we touched on it a little bit, but let's talk about the plot of the show. I do just want to point out something that I like. It's kind of a plot thing, how the story is paced. Often at the end of like a tournament or a match or a game, they won't show the actual like moment of the end of the game. It'll show like the after it's all done and the characters are kind of reacting to what happened.
It'll show like the deciding moment, and then it just cuts to like after. Yeah.
Or it'll be like
it just skips the whole tournament entirely.
There's one scene where Chi comes home and she's like, "Oh, how did Taiki do in the tournament?" And then we cut to Taiki and it's like, okay, that's how he did. We know how he did based on his reaction. We didn't see the match. We just know that that's what happened. Or on the other hand, it's the same way. It balances it well. It shows you action, but it also sometimes it doesn't show you the action. It just kind of lets it breathe and lets you put the pieces together, which is, I'll give it credit for that as well. I like that type of storytelling.
So the thing that I really like about this story in general is just like how the sports stuff feeds into the relationship stuff and vice versa. And I think that that's where this manga shines, is like how the romance and the sports stuff kind of blend together and complement each other.
I think this manga, if you separated all of its elements, you have like a lot of like B- stuff here. But because they're all blended together so well, it works into like a really nice amalgamation of all the things. And it's, if you took like just the sports, if this was just a sports manga, it'd be your average sports manga. If you just took just the romance, it'd be like, okay, this is just another one of these love triangle things. And because they marry each other so well that it kind of elevates both of them. It's nice.
And the other thing I really like about this is like when you're watching a sports anime or reading a sports manga, the thing that like kind of bothers me about it is like, why does this sports team matter much more than every other club in the school? Right? Like this is the main focus. They don't care about like the school extracurricular stuff, the like the relationships of the characters in school or like the other clubs. It's just, this is the team and this is all you've got. Whereas in this manga, it's got like it branches out.
It's like a normal school. They've got
there's at least three sports teams. There's at least three sports teams in this. At least three.
Yeah.
We've got a gymnastics team, which I always find funny in like manga and stuff like that, where gymnastics is basically just like the ribbon dancing gymnastics.
Yeah. Whereas we do like the flipping and stuff.
Well, everybody just does the flipping and the flapping, right? That's what we see at the Olympics.
Yeah.
But in this stuff, it's always the ribbons, which is whatever. Just so
probably don't want teenagers flipping around through the air, breaking their necks and stuff.
Unless it's at the Olympics, then it's
That's
fine.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got your badminton team, and you got your basketball team.
Mhm.
There's probably a soccer team and a baseball team. Those usually exist.
Yeah, I feel like this one, the plots, it's going to sound weird, but it's not necessarily why you're reading it. I don't think the plot is 100% why I get enjoyment out of this. It's kind of the weekly will they, won't they, what's going to happen sort of stuff that kind of is what you're into. But like the overarching plot is not what you're into.
Yeah, the plot in this case is their relationship progressing and how their relationship progresses, which in that sense, yeah, you're interested in the plot. But yeah, there's not really like a
it's the interactions between the characters.
I think like I kind of push back on that because like you're right, but I think like it's that as well as seeing them get better at their respective sport and how they juggle the two.
I think we're learning that this is not just a blue box, but it might be Pandora's box. And you kind of look into it and everyone sees their own little Rorschach test where it's something a little bit different for everybody. Yeah.
It's almost as if art is subjective.
It's almost. Yeah. This one's a little, I didn't expect this to be quite so interpretive, our takes on this one.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, let's get into the most interpretive aspect of anything. Let's talk about the themes. Let's talk about the themes in this. I mean, like thematically, there's not. Listen,
this is a rough one for themes. To be honest,
this is going to be everybody's going to have a different opinion. But from my perspective, as somebody who read the manga and then reread this most recent or these first 3 volumes. There's not much thematically that's happening here other than your like classic, like I want to get better. I want to impress the girl. I want to improve myself. There's not really that I could see any like, psychological theming or anything like that. Just kind of your basic at this point, the first 3.
Yeah. This far in, I don't think there's not like a deep message to this. And if I had to kind of maybe reach and grab one, I'd probably go with you're better than you think you are and just kind of like believe in yourself is maybe the thing. And like kind of that hard work and being, if you surround yourself with people who push you to be better, you become better is kind of the other message I would take out of this.
Yeah.
Because like you get because he's hanging out with Chinatsu, he gets driven to be a better badminton player because she's such a good basketball player. And then because he starts hanging around with Harry there, your mortal enemy, he gets driven to be better too, right? Because he doesn't take it easy on him and he gets better for it. And he kind of says like, I would never have gotten this good if he didn't kind of treat me like a jerk. I think that's probably the main message I took out of it so far.
Yeah. For me, I think this is just like your typical youth coming of age manga.
Yeah. It's very shonen.
Yeah.
Sure.
It exemplifies the 3 things Shonen Jump stands for: friendship, hard work, victory.
Is that an official thing? I've never heard
that's like their 3 principles: friendship, hard work, victory.
They had the friendship is the most powerful force in all of anime, so that it is a good slogan.
But youth. I mean, blue box owl also means youth, so that's the pun. That's why you'll see a lot of shonen manga with like blue in the title because it's youth.
Jay spitting facts.
But spit Garrity and Sama.
Yeah, it's just a classic youthful coming of age story.
It is.
And like I mean, it doesn't need. I don't think that you need. I don't think
it needs to be super heavy.
No, it doesn't have. It's not what this is. This is
that's not what this type of story needs.
No, this is a nice fluffy with it's like Jay's metaphor of the cloud actually is pretty apt because it's kind of like a cloud. Sometimes it's a little dark. Sometimes a dark cloud rolls through, but oftentimes it's kind of just light and fluffy. It's just nice to look at.
Fluffy, but often turbulent.
Yeah, turbulent stuff in there.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that metaphor, Jay.
Yeah.
Gold star to Jay. Jay today.
I agree.
Let's talk about comparisons for this one. Mike already mentioned Toradora, of course. Yeah, if you like the romance aspect of it, I would say Toradora. Maybe, yeah, any of the. There's shoujo elements to this.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I would say maybe some shoujo stuff. If you like shoujo, you may actually like the shonen manga.
I think it's explicitly, it's clearly driven towards the male audience, I'd say. But I think there's a lot to like here for either. Honestly, it's like shonen jo almost.
Yeah, I think the thing that, like, honestly is I hate that I have to say that this is my favorite, like, one of the things that I appreciate about it, but like, it doesn't have any cheap fan service in it. It's just straightforward, sweet, and there's no like stupid panty shots or accidental boob grab or whatever.
That's right.
It's super straightforward.
Yeah. As far as recommendations go, like I don't really have anything that I can think of off the top of my head, other than just kind of a generic, like, if you're into shoujo, you may enjoy this. You may want to delve into something like this. What about Mike mentioned Toradora as well? Do you have any other ones, Mike? Or
yeah, I just wanted to also say too that the mangaka is they're female as well, and I always appreciate stories written by females because it's like you don't have that cheap fan service a lot of the time, and it just kind of feels a lot more like grounded and well written a lot of the time, and I really appreciate that.
It feels like it has more respect for the female characters.
Yeah, and they're like written like actual people and not just boobs and butts running around.
Yeah.
The one thing that I kind of immediately think of is, it's funny because I'm looking at the recommendations page and I can just feel Jay vibrating to say one of his favorite manga of all time. But for me, it's Chihaya Furu is probably the one I think of, because it's just Chihaya Furu is kind of this, but from the other side. And in that, the main plot line is kind of the actual sport. But in this one, I'd say the main plot is probably the romance stuff. But yeah, it is kind of unique. It is a unique little story here because there's not many things. Romance and sports is a weird mix, and it shouldn't work in theory. But
honestly, I think it's a good mix. It lends itself because, well, I mean,
right? It's
a person in high school. A person in high school would have to balance both of those things, right?
For sure. Yeah.
It does work in that sense.
It works well. Like you look at it and you're like, oh, that's not. But when you think about it, it's like, no, that. It works well. It's passion. It's all passion about different things.
Exactly.
And where you're directing that passion towards. Like a cloud. Like a cloud.
Now, Jay, tell us about baby steps.
Well, I was going to say baby step, but the thing that I wanted to say, it was more like an amalgamation of like Haikyuu and I'd even say like We Never Learn. And the reason I use those two is because I think that was the inspiration for this one, is like Shonen Jump wanted something that both fit like that both attracted the people that read Haikyuu and like that, and read something like We Never Learn for the romance and wanted that. And so this kind of became the amalgamation next step for people who wanted to read those kinds of things. So I'd also say Horimiya. I'd throw that one out there. But I was using the Shonen Jump lineup as my jumping off point for that. And but if you like Haikyuu and Horimiya, I think that you should definitely check this out. If you like baby steps, I mean, this is for you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's even nets, like rackets.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, for what it's worth, the recommendations on Annie list, we mentioned Baby Steps, Chihaya Furu, the fragrant flower blooms with dignity. Jay, I think you enjoy that one.
Yeah.
Horimiya, Haikyuu. One that's on here that makes sense to me. When will Ayamu make his move? Similar dynamic, but it's they play shogi, so it's not really a sport per se, but similar dynamics.
I gave Chihaya Furu where they play cards.
Insomniacs After School is on here. I
don't think any of us have seen that I'm going to throw out there is Ahiro no Sora. It's a basketball anime and manga. And the mangaka for this was apparently they got their start as an assistant for that manga. So there could be some ties there if you're into the sports side of this.
Yeah. Well, what are our final thoughts? Jay, please.
For sure. This is a very cute romance manga that also has a great balance with uh, good sports action. And by sports action, I mean like sports in action rather than fighting.
Mhm.
I love the blend of the two, and I think that watching these characters balance those two things, romance and their own club activity, is such a great idea, and it works to its benefit. The art complements this manga really well, and I think that the characters, while maybe a little cliche, work for what this manga is trying to do. If you like shonen romance, or even like if you want another sports manga, give this a shot. It might not be your favorite if you like sports stuff, but like it'll definitely scratch that itch. And it scratched that itch for me. I love this manga, and it tickles my jimmies.
Ooh.
Jimmies have
I
been
love this
tickled.
manga. It tickles my jimmies. Okay.
Is that your rating?
No,
What do
I
you
have more
think?
to say.
No, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm not giving it a rating. You just have to figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out.
Yeah. Tickles his jimmies is an interesting turn of phrase there.
Interesting. Mike, what about you?
I thought it'd be a certified. So Jay Garrity and Sama recommended this one to me many moons ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking, okay, it looks interesting. How good could it be? And the answer is very good. It's very good.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like my senpai, Jay Guardian Sama here, has nailed it in his explanation. So I feel like I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining why I like it, because he honestly kind of took the words out of my mouth. But I think my recommendation and final thoughts is if you like either romance or sports, or even just think you might be interested in this, it's done very well, and there's something here for almost everybody. I'm very excited for the anime to come out, although I'm a little dubious because I don't Telecom Animation Film is the studio doing it, but we'll see. Hopefully they do a good job. This
Can't
manga
wait for Disney Plus to get it.
Is that who's getting it?
No, but
Well,
like
they're doing
Astronaut this season.
No, they were
and
doing
Rick and
something else
Morty
this season.
Rick and Morty, the anime this year too.
No, we were talking about Astronaut when we talked about Blue Box. Yeah.
Oh,
They also did Nagatoro season 1.
Yeah, I mean,
and Tower of God.
Be fine.
You know what? They have a few things here that turned out okay.
I'm not nervous about that. I think it'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
They did Orange,
yep.
which might be our vote. By the way, vote for our listener's choice. It's in the description.
Our favorite,
the trailer was
favorite
good,
Yuri
so,
manga.
I mean,
Yeah. Anyway, anywho, I'm going to give it a tickles my jimmies as well. I think it's very good. There's something here for everyone, but it's just not in that upper echelon that I consider an AniPro certified.
Interesting. Thank you, Michael. It is my turn. Here I am, I'm the progenitor of the Anime Protagonist podcast.
Here he is. Hail
to the king.
That's right.
This manga does a lot of things right. I like the art style. I do like the character dynamics. You know what? At this point in the manga, what we've read up to this point, I like.
That's what I have to consider it by too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like this manga. I'm intrigued. I like the concept of the sports meets romance, which isn't new per se, but it does a good job of it.
Mm-hmm.
The art style, like I said, is refreshing. It's nice to look at. Yeah, I mean, a little contrived with the setup, but we can forgive it for that, I think. That all being said, that all being said, I'm probably not as high on it as you guys are. It's just not as deep, maybe, as
He's
something.
Been flowers for Algernon.
Yeah, my brain is too large to bring myself down to this plebeian entertainment. No, I'd consider continuing this for sure. And I did continue past this point when I did read the manga.
Okay.
It's not that I dropped it. It's just that I kind of fell out of phase with it, I suppose.
I feel like it kind of, like many romance stories, at a certain point, if the you get tired of nothing really happening, and you just kind of get tired of it.
I need to know off screen where the two of you are in the manga, because I'm kind of curious.
I'm around chapter 60 is where I kind of fell off it as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where I am.
I just mean like what was going on in the manga.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that off air. Let me allow me, gentlemen, to introduce our next manga review, which will be done in 1 month's time. This is I should say Blue Box is a certified manga. I will give it that.
Okay.
It's not alleged anymore.
Okay.
I will grant it the title of manga.
It's moved up in Cole's tiers. That's good.
Yeah. Our next potential alleged manga. I don't know if you guys are reading this one. I am reading it. I'm having a nice time reading it. It's another shonen manga. It's a bit lighter.
Okay.
I should preface this by saying I'm not a furry. I just want to put that out there.
Interesting
Our
comment.
next manga is going to be, it's a manga called Ogami Sumiki to Kinichijo.
And where can people read this one? Is this available on Shonen Jump or something?
I don't know.
How do I read this? Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll find it.
I didn't know that I had to know this.
Okay. What's it about?
Sunday Webry? Well, let me read the synopsis. The modern world is one of diversity where Genjins live together with humans. At Keiki High School, where many Genjins attend, a human boy, Yutaka Shinso, enrolls there. Yutaka, who often goes along with other people's wishes instead of expressing his own feelings, meets a werewolf girl, Sumiki Ogami, the titular character. He has a feeling that he'll finally be able to be himself. A new normal story of two people's coming of age. So it's just another coming of age story. I'm having a good time with it. At this point, there's, I think, 24, if that even, chapters out. I think we could probably just read up till the most recent chapter.
How many chapters roughly are out? Do you have any idea? Or
well, I can tell you the exact number of chapters if you give me one current.
But it's comedy tag, romance tag, and supernatural, and 24 chapters, so about the same as
24
this.
24 chapters. Yeah. We can do this one, I think. So let me actually read it properly. Ogami Sumiki to Kinichijo. I think I read it.
Nicely done.
I read it properly.
Nicely done. Yeah. Average score 71%, mean score 74%. So it is beloved, I would say, for its short run time. And I see Ruri Dragon is recommended for people who like this one too. So I'm curious. I'm curious about this one.
Yeah, we'll take that. We'll take that into consideration, and we will read that, and we will come back in a month's time and give you our opinions on it. And we expect you, the listener, to also read it.
So what we're gonna do is when we do that review, we're just gonna like flap our lips on YouTube, and we're gonna ask you to dub over it, and then post that.
That's what we're doing. That's also spoilers. I'm leaving this our whole review of Blue Box blank, and the listeners can just
dub over
up the review. Yeah. That's how we've been doing reviews for years. By the way.
Yep. Yeah. Actually, recently there's a K-pop music video where they use AI to like make the mouth move, and it's like a funny little bit. I'm going to show you guys in the break. It's fun.
Okay.
Supernatural by Ace.
Okay. Well, speaking of break, why don't we take a moment to remember? Why don't we take a moment to remember all of the
mangas we lost over the years? Break. Yeah, break. Welcome back to the Anime Protagonist Podcast, where this week we have a very exciting topic for all of you guys. We are diving back into the future.
Okay, Jay.
Maybe let the pro take this one over, Jay.
We're going back. We're going into the vault. A lot of my concern is a lot of listeners don't realize that we have a vault. If you go back and you look at our early episodes, they start at episode 20, and you're probably thinking, where is episode 1 through 19? Well, gentlemen, it's in the vault. It's in the Disney vault, or the AniPro vault, as we call it. And that is only accessible to certain people, patrons. But I thought we've got some topics back there, some ideas that may make for good little quick hitter discussions that we could do. So I've got 6. We may not get through all of them, but I have them, and I've got which episodes they're from, if you want to go back and check. Okay. But I thought, we could just kind of revisit the past, go back to the future past.
Yeah, it's always good to look at your old takes and see how they stack up now. I have no idea what I said on these old episodes because these are buried in the vault for a reason. These are ancient old history. There's our old friend Rumeko on these episodes probably.
I will say
AniPro history.
Yeah, I will say I didn't make a note of what our takes were at the time because you need to go and listen to them. You need to go and check them yourself. But I thought we could give our current opinions, which more than likely have changed. This is from what?
Almost certainly, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What, Jay? We started this podcast.
Our first episode was recorded September 10th, 2021.
Yeah. So
there you go.
Almost 3 years we've been doing this old hat for us now, Jay. We've been doing this a long time. Yeah. Long time.
Grab the cane, the walker,
cocaine.
Because we're old.
Am I still a guest? Have I ever made the official?
Mike, today
has Jay ever agreed to have me become a host?
Today you're a guest.
I feel like you would never.
Today you're a guest.
Okay. Today you're a guest, yeah. For old time's sake. We should specify the joke because a lot of listeners probably don't know what that is. Jay and I started this podcast in September of 2021 during the dark days before the Empire.
Yes.
And Jay and I started it. We recorded in my living room at my kitchen table, which we dragged into my living room. We had room echo. Didn't know what we were doing. Still don't really know what we're doing. But frankly, this is a much better product than it was back then. Mike came on. I invited him. It was I think it was episode 6 because that's one of the episodes that
was the dub episode.
It was the dub episode that's on the list here. And Mike came back again as a guest for episode 7.
Oh, don't make it sound like I pushed my way in. You guys just kept asking me.
And then Mike, he kept asking. He kept asking to come back. He kept
insisting on coming back.
And I am pretty insistent.
What episode did we finally relent and say, fine, Mike, you can be a host? What episode would that have been?
I'm actually looking at the lost episodes.
Maybe episode 12?
Scramble and think.
It's like episode 11 or 12, I want to say. It was comical how often we had Mike on.
So back then, I want to let you all keep this in mind. When we started, we were on a bi-weekly schedule. Yeah, so it wasn't just 12 or 5 weeks later. It was 10 weeks later.
I was on the first episode I was on is episode 6. I dubbed the Weeb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Came out April 21st, 2023. Oh, no. That's when I uploaded to the vault. Never mind. I don't have the dates.
It came out back in 21.
Yeah.
But
I'm episode 8. Join Cole, Jay, and special guest Mike.
Okay.
So that would be what? That's 2 months later.
That's
Yeah.
Okay. Episode 10. It says Jay, Cole, and Mike. We didn't nail down the order there yet. Episode 9. Join Cole, Jay, and Mike. So maybe it was episode 9.
Maybe. What's that episode 8's description?
Episode 8 is Tropes Weeb Love to Hate. Or Hate to Love.
What was the description though?
Join Cole, Jay, and special guest Mike.
It was episode 9.
It was episode 9.
So it wasn't that bad. It was only 3 episodes.
It was Was I officially? Well, if that's the case, then I was indoctrinated as a host on our very first anime awards, the 2021 Weebies.
That sounds
That seems
familiar.
like a weird move by you guys.
No, that sounds familiar.
That sounds familiar.
I think
I remember the text I got from Cole. He texted me.
Well, there was many texts about this,
and he was like, "So I want to have a meeting about something." And I was like, "Okay, I'm pretty sure I know what this is, but okay." And he's like, "How do you feel about making Mike ... And then like two minutes later, he sent another text, a permanent host on the podcast. And I was like, "Yep, I felt like that was coming anyway."
And Jay was like, no.
The writing was on the wall on episode 7. So
yeah.
Jay said, no, Mike's mean to me.
Yeah, I just don't like his whole vibe.
He gives me wedgies and swirlies.
Yeah, honestly,
and that's why we record remotely now.
Yeah, honestly, I don't
exactly.
like Cole either. I wish it was just me.
That's why. And that's where
that's not true.
That's where Jay's YouTube channel came in.
That's right. That's right. And then Jay realized having a YouTube channel without other friends to help you out with it, a lot of work.
Jay Gardian at YouTube.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Well, yeah. So let's actually work backwards then. I think that would be would be fun. So the most recent topic idea that I pulled from the vault was from episode 16, which the topic was best manga / light novel adaptations. So like. You know, we'll be brief with these. I don't think we need to spend too much time. But Jay, do you recall at all what you would have said?
Oh my God, it's been. I mean,
so you don't have to. I'm just curious if either of you remember.
Yeah.
I have zero clue.
No,
I
don't know either.
Yeah,
I don't know either. Off the top of my head, like I'd probably give the award to a movie, maybe something like A Silent Voice. I think is a very good adaptation. Yeah. Hear me out. Let me go. Let me cook.
Let him cook.
I just feel like there's a more obvious one. I'll say it after though.
Well, that's fine. I'm leaving you the obvious one. A Silent Voice. I think it's a good adaptation in the sense that they kind of trim the fat off. There's a lot of stuff that gets cut from the manga into the movie, which I mean, it's the curse when you do a 2-hour movie versus how many 7 volumes of the movie or the manga. But it's it's impactful. It's very efficient in its storytelling. The animation is great. It's KyoAni. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. So just off the top of my head, and the fact that I can see the manga in atop my head, then that's probably the one that I would say.
Yeah,
I think it's a really good anime movie, good manga too, though.
Yep. And I feel like it did a good job adapting it too, as the other thing that you kind of consider here too. There's two ways you can go with adaptation. Is you can either just do it 1-to-1, which is perfectly fine, or you can elevate it too. And probably the one that I feel like I'm surprised you didn't say was March Comes In Like a Lion. I feel like I personally haven't read the manga for that one, but I feel like there's no shot that the manga and that are 1-to-1. I feel like it definitely has to elevate from the manga.
It does elevate from the manga, but it is 1-to-1. Yeah. I would say like the anime even does a thing where it like specifies the chapter that it's doing in each segment. Right.
But when I say elevate, I mean like the added motion, the added scenes and the extra stuff that they add into that you just can't do in a manga that you can do in a actual animated form. There's got to be a lot of that stuff. There's no shot that it was in the manga.
Yeah, 100%. The anime is like a separate work that I think improves on the manga. Yeah.
I think like the one that comes to mind, just jumping off of the Shaft train here, is the Monogatari series. Just kind of like it's just a novel. So like, you know, everything that made the Monogatari series what people know it as was the anime. Like the visuals, the character designs on for the most part.
I feel like it wouldn't be as popular if it wasn't for the Shaft adaptation.
Yeah.
And like just the style and flair that Akiyuki Shimbo gave to the Monogatari series, like really made it its own thing. and
Well,
brought the pages to life.
Yeah, I mean the manga, or I mean, sorry, the anime in and of itself has kind of become like iconic in its own way, with like the card shots and the quick like blurbs on the screen of just words, and like it's very it obviously took the story that was written there on the page and it told that story, but also was able to, well, similar with March Comes in Like a Lion. It's the same studio, same director, I think.
Yep, they're both Shimbo.
And they're able to take an existing story and add to it and
elevate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is like, I think probably the better way to adapt something, but sometimes a story is just so good that it doesn't need it's impossible to elevate it further. And you kind of just want to stick closer to the source material, which is why I'd also throw like something like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood on this list, because it just basically sticks to the source material the whole way through. There's really nothing major added to it, but it just, seeing those characters in the story come to life in motion is just great. It's just good voice acting, and same thing with like a Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, I think the thing with Full Metal Alchemist, same thing with like Fruits Basket, is it was almost a requirement that they stick to what the manga did because of the previous adaptation not sticking to what the manga did, or having to continue past where the manga was at the time.
I mean, the attempt of both remakes was a mulligan, so I feel like if they derive too much from that source material, the question then becomes, why the mulligan if you're gonna just deviate again?
For sure. And it seems like we're kind of in more, I don't know, I feel like back in 2001, which is when I think maybe both of those came out.
Around that time,
early 2000s.
People were not as critically minded, I don't think. I don't think the average person, first of all, had a podcast. Second of all, they were watching anime just because the average anime fan and the average person was probably just like, I'm going to watch something because I think it's cool or fun. Yeah. They weren't looking at it thinking, I love the direction of this shot, and I love this is a great adaptation of this source material that I can't read. And I think nowadays people are a lot more educated on stuff like that, which is why you kind of can't get away with doing a bad adaptation anymore.
Well, I think like at the same time, because anime was so scarce back in the day, like you kind of didn't have the luxury of picking and choosing.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. You'd watch it on YouTube at 240p with like 17 parts split up.
Yeah. Had to watch 17 videos to watch one. Yeah. No, I think I bet you if we went back and listened to this episode, it would probably be pretty similar. It's the most recent of the vault. And
there's probably something in there where we talked about like some of the recent shows. Like I feel like there's like slow rumblings of Spy Family coming to me, but like I don't know if it was this episode or a different episode.
Yeah.
I feel because Spy Family I think started in 2021, right?
Somewhere around there.
Anime.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. We do have other topics though we can move on to. So the next one would have been episode 13. And it was OP. I think we talked about songs, OP songs. So what is the best OP song? Gentlemen, what is the best song in an OP? And go ahead, Mike. No,
I was
go
just going to say a quick caveat to this one is you two are much, much, much larger OP heads than me. I honestly, I know this is sacrilege, dear listener, but I skip most OPs. I watch them once or twice and then skip them the rest of the time.
And that's why he's a guest, ladies and gentlemen.
I know.
Yeah, that's why he's still a guest.
That's right. And I don't know. I'll unless it's incredible, I won't watch it that many times. And like, they just don't do as much for me as I think they do for you guys. So I'm going to let you guys take more of the wheel on this one.
That's okay. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind that I guarantee was on the list, Cruel Angel's Thesis.
Yeah,
for sure.
Genesis Evangelion. It's just a great goddamn song.
It's just a great OP too, because it's so like iconic and stylistic that it's just and I love a bombastic OP, and that OP screams bombastic.
It's bombastic for sure. Yeah,
and iconic.
Yeah,
just like Jay's obviously going to bring up Brave Shine, which is also definitely mentioned.
See, I wasn't because I knew one of you were going to do it for me.
Yes.
That's what we're here for, Jay.
That's what we're here for, Jay. We know you. We know you like the back of our hand.
Brave Shine is a great song, and I love that OP too. That's
I mean, UFO Table does such a great job with OP visuals. So I mean,
yeah, it's pronounced Ufotable actually, but
I pronounce it Ufot Able.
It's because the guy that started it wanted a table that looked like UFO.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So do I. I want that too.
Interesting.
I want to believe. Yeah, I mean Brave Shine, of course.
Brave Shine, great song. I think like the choice to like pick like a very melancholic song for an action show is so interesting because like I feel like it was kind of saying that like we're focusing more on the drama of the story rather than the action in it.
Yeah. And I will say though that OP, as Mike said, bombastic OP as well.
That's true.
The action shots in that OP go pretty hard.
Yeah.
Another
but
one
do you actually have one that we didn't
that we didn't just tell you to do?
Well, I did, but I was so rudely no, I'm kidding.
You loved our puppet. Dance for us.
You loved it.
Or maybe you are the puppets and I was just stringing you along.
What if conniving?
What if we're the puppets? What if we were the puppets all along?
What if we're the puppets all along? Jay has his hands up our butts.
The treacherous Jay Gardian.
Delightfully devilish.
Delightfully devilish.
That's
delightfully devilish, Seymour. Yeah. I freaking love steamed hams. But no, I like the one that I was going to bring up was all the JoJo OPs honestly are like so good.
Yep.
Sonachino Sadame specifically, like I feel like is such a good start to like as a song, such a great start to like a generational story.
Which one is that?
The first one.
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with the names, so
yeah. The first OP. I mean, again, bombastic.
Yes. Yeah. Over the top. What's his name? Tommy, I think, is such a like. I don't want to say flamboyant, but like he's a very like.
Is that the singer?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a very powerful singer. He's got a very powerful voice.
Singer.
Yeah.
And it just like it feels like it is a JoJo OP.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's just what you would expect it to be. It is.
Yeah.
Now, Mike, we rudely interrupted you, and I apologize.
You did?
Did you have one?
Oh.
Yeah, I thought you had one.
Oh yeah, I got. I'm gonna go with Jujutsu Kaisen first season's OP was a banger, man. Kikei Kaiten. It it's really good. It stands the test of time.
I think so,
even honestly, like at this point, I can just say all of Jujutsu Kaisen's OPs are bangers. Yeah, and I'll stand by that statement. Probably my favorite actually is the one for the hidden inventory arc, where our blue is. I actually like that's one of the few songs that I actually like will listen to. Just I'll throw it on Spotify, just put it up, and it's great. Visuals are awesome in it too, for all three of them too. So
I mean, Mappa, like say what you will about Mappa,
they know
they know how to do an OP,
and they know that a good OP will keep people watching a show. It's so weird. I don't know why not all anime studios get this, but like if the OP is really good, people like honestly just watch the show just because the OP is good. Sometimes. I mean,
they did that for Mashal, right? Like people watch the show because they thought that song slapped.
It's a powerful thing. It is a powerful thing for sure.
Yeah. I just want to, seeing as you guys brought up complete shows, Monogatari OPs are just the quality from start to finish of their OPs is just awesome. Yeah. Awesome OPs.
Renai Circulation is one of the most like iconic anime OPs of all time.
Oh, there's so many from Monogatari that are just iconic through and through. And I know Cole brought it up when they announced this Monogatari. Is it a sequel? What's the new thing that's coming out?
It's a sequel.
It's a sequel.
No, it's another book adaptation.
Aragi's in college in this one, so yeah.
Okay, but it's not featuring one of the voice actors singing it, right? Which I
Yeah.
know Cole was a little miffed about.
I'm not
It's
miffed.
Yoasobi.
I'm curious. I'm curious.
Yeah,
about
it's also
it.
his mortal enemy Yoasobi too.
Yeah.
They're not my mortal enemy. It's just
All their songs
I
are
don't
the
know.
same.
I'll
Anyway,
give 'em-
Speaking
I'll
of all
give
their
him-
songs sounding the same and a series having incredible OPs, Kaguya-sama Love is War.
yes.
All of the OPs,
Yeah.
fantastic,
Yeah.
amazing, great. Who's that? I don't know what the guy's name is that sings them all.
Masayoshi something.
Yes,
Yeah, but he's great
amazing.
too.
He's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
amazing.
I love him.
Yeah,
I'm in
I
love with him.
I love him.
I love
which
him.
one?
Squee.
Which one of the three is your favorite?
My favorite OP is the first one.
Mm.
I think that's the coolest one. It's like a James Bond opening.
Yeah, they're
Uh,
all good.
I think the song wise is probably the most recent one. What was the
Yeah.
most recent one?
Maybe. The
Giri
most recent
Giri.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, or Daddy Daddy Do. One of those two was probably. I like those songs more.
It's
Mhm.
like asking me which one's my favorite child. I don't think I have an answer. I don't know if I can actually pick one.
I think like in terms of song, I kind of like Giri Giri the most, but like I think I'm doing myself a disservice to love dramatization, I think it's called.
Is that the first one?
That's
that
the first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just hear it so much that it's just
Mhm.
kind of feels overplayed in my mind.
Oh,
I feel like song too.
Oh, they're all
I like
good.
the start of
feel
that
like
song.
Daddy Daddy Do though. Maybe if I had to, you held my toenails up to the cheese grater, I'd probably go with that one.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah.
They're all good. They're all
Yeah.
good.
they are all good.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
enjoy them.
We
Do
do.
you guys have any other OPs that you think are straight slapping and banging? It's like I feel like I've started this off by saying I didn't have many, but what I did was
You
I
got
pulled up an
more now?
article and I sometimes when I'm lost for answers, I'll just Google and Google gives me answers. It's
I mean,
my brain.
the
hole.
March comes in like a lion's third OP, the first OP from the second season. That one's just
that show has some
artistically
good ones,
great.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. The first OP to Vinland Saga. by
The
Survive
second
Saga.
OP to
The
Vinland Saga.
second OP to Vinland Saga
Oh.
too. Oh,
The
yeah.
song might be better for the first one, but I love that second OP. It's so cool.
They're all cool. That's a good
Yeah.
show. Hey, hot take. Vinland Saga is pretty good.
Drink.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
don't forget Hikaru Nara from Your Lie in April.
Yeah.
I feel like it's because the show's kind of old now, but like that OP is so gosh darn good. We should really review that show at some point
It'd be
too.
a good show.
So slaps.
Honestly,
I'm due
let's
for a
cry.
rewatch.
I am
rewatch.
too. I haven't seen it since 2016, so it's
I
been.
don't
I've
think
only
Jay's
seen it
heart could
once.
handle it.
I don't know. Maybe it would either grow or shrink 3 sizes.
I'm just
that
scared that it's not going to hold up. Honestly,
That's what I'm a little
I
scared
think
of
it's
too.
good. I think it will. I don't think that's an issue.
But
But we can't dwell on single topics forever.
Yeah.
We do have other ones.
we do have other
Yes.
ones.
Well, we got
Jay-
yeah.
Jay, if you want to throw one out, I'll let you. I'll
Okay,
let you finish up this segment.
The OP to a certain scientific accelerator, "Shadow is the Light," is such a good song.
Yeah. Okay, that's a deep cut.
That's
That's a deep cut.
I'm not familiar with that one. Maybe I shouldn't have let you go.
I'll have to play it for
One
you
of the
guys off
listeners
air.
out there, is pumping their fist right now. They're like, yes,
yes. I love
He brought it
I
up.
love those ones.
some
brought it up.
accelerator. And
Man,
if we don't
that
cover all
is-
the topics today too, we can always make it.
Yeah, we can come
You know,
back to
yeah,
them. But
yeah.
that's one series that like I know is beloved and huge. I've never
Yeah.
gotten into.
The sales
Same.
pitch that I got for that series is it's anime's MCU. So like basically it has like multiple different spin-offs and then they all come together in various times to
Okay,
like,
so that was my next question.
Avenger
Is like
up.
Railgun and Accelerator, do they tie together?
Yeah. they all
Yeah,
tie
okay.
together. So Railgun, Accelerator, and Index are all like part of the same universe. And then
Mhm.
sometimes they'll all meet up and do various things from here to there.
And Kiss.
Kith.
And
Yeah.
Kiss.
Yeah.
Episode 8. We're going
Okay.
back even further in time
Mm-hmm.
to the most annoying trope. In anime. So what's a trope that just grinds our gears? What's something that we see in anime and we're like, I hate.
With
Let me
this
tell
is
you what
bloody
I hate.
passion.
I was
Okay.
going to say, this is one that I think our answers probably have, most definitely have changed. just because we're at a different place in our anime careers, and also just anime as a whole is different now than, believe it or not. It's only been 3 years almost, but like I feel like things have changed quite a bit at this point.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like the obvious one would be like your boring MC self-insert character. They're usually pretty not exciting for me. Like I want to watch anime, I want to be taken somewhere else, and I want to watch people who are more interesting than me because I'm not a very exciting person.
Yeah,
that was the top one I had written down. Was like I might have even said it back then, but like I really just am not. I like you said, I want to watch something for an interesting character piece. I want interesting characters and stuff. I don't get anything out of self-insert stuff. So the bland MC for me is especially egregious, and I just feel like it honestly, when I hear isekai these days, it's the first thing I think of is another show with a boring potato that I have to put myself in their shoes.
Yeah.
And they have no personality, and everyone loves them for some reason, and they're really strong, and it just dampens my mood.
It sucks because like there are a lot of good isekais out there that don't suffer from that problem, but like people just look at, and I mean Hollywood does this too. They look at, okay, what's an aspect that makes money?
Yeah.
And then they just say, okay, what is the easiest way we can get that out there so we can make money back?
Yeah, 100%.
It's all about that flash in the pan, right?
Yeah.
Make as much money as we can right now. But I think what we look for, like what true connoisseurs, what true anime fans look for, is something that will last longer, right?
Yeah.
I can go back and I can watch something like Mushoku Tensei. I think I'll be able to watch something like Mushoku Tensei in 10 years.
And it'll hold up.
And it'll still hold up because like Rudy is, frankly, you don't want to be like Rudy at the start of the story.
That's right.
He's not a stand-in, I hope, for most people.
I'd be a little concerned if you were like saying Rudy's me.
Yeah. And I want to watch the main character grow. I want him to change. If he's a self-insert, then you don't. If I'm writing a self-insert character, I don't want him to change. I want him to remain a piece of toast, milk toast.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's probably why this is such a common trope, is because I think there are people that genuinely, they go to anime as a place to go and be like, okay, I'm self-inserting, and that's why, and it honestly makes money all the time, but it just, like you said, there's the longevity is just not there.
Yeah.
And
it's like a D&D campaign to them.
Kind of, yeah. It's just a bit of escapism, but I get escapism out of watching interesting stuff. Yeah. Do you guys have any other interesting things?
Hime Deres, not into.
Yeah,
that's simply not true. You love Gilgamesh.
Girls with animal ears and tails, just I don't really like them at all.
That's not true at all.
It's a beloved anime trope. Cole, stop being a sarcastic piece of.
I think Cole's literally just describing Holo.
Yeah.
Another trope that I don't like is Misato Katsuragi. Not into that trope.
Jay, do you have any real ones?
So I know I said this one last time because like I felt this for the longest time, and it's romance series where the main couple get together right at the very end. And then it just cuts to black, and that's the end of the story, and there's nothing else.
I think I remember talking about this because I might have said what I would like to see. What I would think would be one of the bravest things a romance anime could do is the characters get together, fast forward 3 years, and they have broken up. I think that would be such a unique concept.
Cool. Yeah,
it would be so cool. And then in the end, like,
honestly, do that with Toradora.
No, hear me out. Be quiet, Jay. Don't do that with Toradora. Taiga and Ryuji are perfect. No, if let's say Blue Box, we just reviewed it before the break. Let's say Taiki and what's her name?
Chinatsu?
No, the other one.
Hina.
They get together. Fast forward 3 years, and they're no longer together.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
And then
so it's a cool idea, but I ask you, what is the story? What is the plot from that point?
what would be the idea behind it? Well,
Yeah,
I think it would have to be the ending of a story. I think that would have to be the end, and then the moral, the lesson that you learn is sometimes things don't work out. It's just the way of the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
was thinking it'd be more like a sequel series, maybe, or something like that.
I think like for me, what I'd like to see is more like more of an emphasis on this idea that the romantic interest isn't like it's not just the one, you know, like I'd love to see this a story where like a couple get together, they break up, and then the main character moves on to someone else. And like you see that, and you see them go through various relationships.
Yeah, and how the fallout from different types of fallouts from different types of relationships. Sometimes they'd stay friends, sometimes they hate each other.
Yeah,
I mean, we did just watch a show that is basically what you just described, Jay. It's called Golden Boy.
They never got together though.
They never got together, and they were all in love with him at the end.
Yeah.
I know.
Man, I tried reading after too. Unreadable.
Yeah.
Is it unreadable? Okay.
It's awful. It's awful.
Yeah. It was really a flash in the pan. It really was. Yeah.
One little trope that I want to say is when you can tell like a character is designed and the mangaka thinks they look so cool, but in reality they look so lame. Kirito. I think of what's that other show?
No, Guts.
Guts even to a certain point. Like Guts is just always like brooding and like
that's my payback.
It's kind of a little bit of like Guts is cool. I love Guts
for poking the bear.
But at the start of it, Guts is a little lame. It's kind of like big guy.
Yeah, I'll give you one, Jay, that'll get underneath Cole's skin here. Saber.
No, Saber's
character's so cool. Good that they just made every female blonde character in the series look like her.
No, Saber is cool though. Saber does look cool. I mean the ones that they think look cool that are not cool.
Chizuru Mizuhara.
Chizuru is good. Yeah. See, that's the thing. I can't think of many that don't. I'm not sure if I have.
I'm trying to think of that show. That show that you guys tried to make me watch. It was an isekai where
Sid Kagano.
Sid Kagano, yeah.
But see, that's part of the joke. Is that
the part of the joke is that he's overly edgy.
Yeah. But like it's usually Goblin Slayer.
Yeah. Okay.
It's usually like people like they're all dark and like they wear their black robes, and it's like
I think you just have a bias against like kind of like
edginess
and like kind of emo / goth looking stuff.
I do. Yeah. I want them to look cool. Come on. Make my characters look cool.
And like Darth Vader kind of looks stupid.
Darth Vader is cool.
Darth Vader looks cool
George
in
Lucas
certain
thinks
shots.
He looks so cool, but
that actually Darth Vader is a good example for this because there's a lot of shots where you just look at him and you're like, man, he looks kind of dumb there.
Oh yeah.
Look at that stupid samurai helmet. What's that? What's going on with that?
That's awesome.
That
Darth
weird
Vader
thing on his chest.
Darth Vader's iconic. I will not stand for this.
And
his
then that
silhouette,
weird breathing noise.
His silhouette, in and of itself, is.
You know what's great about his silhouette is because you can't see him.
True.
It's just an outline.
Whatever. You guys are just.
Saying I mean, he's dressed in all black, so you kind of think that he is a silhouette.
Honestly,
that's the point. He's like a big shadow. Scary.
Looks stupid.
You guys are funny.
I'm gonna beat you.
A series that is really good for this as well is like the Gundam series are kind of good for this because there's so many characters in it that you can tell they're like this person's gonna be really cool. And honestly, they kind of are a lot of the time. Like Char is awesome.
Char is awesome. You know who's not awesome though? Full Frontal.
Full Frontal kind of lame. But I'm thinking Universal Century is generally pretty okay. The one that I find pretty egregious is when you get into some of like the alternative universe ones, the spin-offs, like Gundam Seed as a whole, for example, Gundam Wing as a whole, for example. Have you guys seen the iconic clip from Gundam Wing with the main character there where he rips up her letter and then says, I'll kill you? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That is a quintessential example of what Cole's talking about here.
Okay, quick poll here. Yeah. Lelouch. How do we feel about him? Cool or dorky?
Oh, he rides a line.
Yeah. He's dorky. He's over the top and dorky. But I like I like the style in Code Geass because like people are flashy, you know, that's what I want. Swag. Zero himself.
Yeah.
He rides the line because there's like a certain aspect of him where it's like, yeah, you look lame as
You look ridiculous.
all hell,
Yeah.
but also like you're rocking it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think part of it's kind of like my next example here, where it at the time was a look.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like at the time Code Geass probably was a cool, like it was less lame.
Mm-hmm.
But the other one I'm going to bring up here is, it pains me a little to say this, but Ken Kaneki.
So here's the thing. I think like the anime kind of ruined Ken Kaneki's look because like in the manga, the way it was portrayed was like his transformation into a ghoul. But like in the anime, it's just like a quick like something happens, then his hair immediately dyes white, and like his fingernails just suddenly turn black, and he's all emo and
yeah.
And
It's
the mask.
They kind of ruined my boy a little bit.
Yeah.
In the manga, way cooler looking, and it's just because the art style is so awesome.
His look was like the result of torture.
Yeah.
Right.
Which they did in the anime, didn't they?
They did in the anime, but like the scene of him becoming like getting to that look is just like a fade. His hair fades from black to white. His nails fade to black. Like looks stupid.
I only bring him up because like I feel like he is again quintessentially.
That sounds very lame and boring and dumb and stupid.
Well said, Jay. I feel like he is one of those people who like he's supposed to be so bloody cool.
Yeah.
And at the time he probably was, and then nowadays it's kind of just it's a little cringe, isn't it?
Well, I mean what's that one panel that people meme about where like he's like I am the Tokyo Ghoul.
Oh yeah. I am become Ghoul. Destroyer of world.
Destroyer of Tokyo.
Yeah. You guys have any more?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I wasn't expecting us to talk about my little mini trope there.
Oh, that's the one where he's like, I am tragedy.
Is that it?
Tragedy?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that sounds
also
edgy.
You know what though? He does kind of go hard in that panel that you always see where he's like looking up. Yeah, that kind of goes hard too.
It does.
Yeah, Tokyo Ghoul
she does such a good mangaka.
Again though, it's the panel. You don't see the anime version of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I gotta read the manga. I don't even know which panel you guys are talking about.
You got to read it. Honestly, Cole,
read the Tokyo Ghoul manga.
Read Tokyo Ghoul the manga. It's amazing.
It's so good.
Arguably better. Which is a bold statement.
I don't like Ree's ending, but I think like the bulk of the story is better.
Mm-hmm. It's like a more mature story.
More mature. More like more manure.
Whoa.
Well, let's move on. Episode 6, we talked about dubs. This was Mike's first episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, gentlemen, what is the best anime dub? I will start off. I will go with my answer that I give every time I bring up anime dubs that are actually good. K-On! K-On! Has a great dub. It's awesome. It's so good. You wouldn't expect a show about cute girls playing music to have a good dub, but K-On! They brought their A game for that one. Did a very good job. I love.
I'll watch it one of these years.
And I think for K-On! The dub did a really good job of matching the sub voices as well,
which was important in it because like you have to match the singing, right? Yeah. So like Yui over here.
Yep.
Her dub voice actor had to sound like her singing voice, and she does. Same with Mio, the two singers in the band. Yeah, did a very good job. I really like that dub.
By the first ED of K-On!, by the way, goes hard. I love that ED.
I prefer the OPs, but whatever. Okay. That's fine.
No comment here. I have no clue.
Have to disagree.
I like the drummer girl, little drummer girl. I don't know.
Ritsu.
Sure. Yeah.
Mike likes drummer girls though, so that makes sense.
Yeah, Ritsu's good.
It's a good look.
Anyway, Ritsu.
My great dub candidate is one I thought for sure Cole was going to steal from me here. But thank God he's an idiot. I went with Konosuba.
No, I wasn't going to steal that. You're safe.
No? Oh,
No.
okay. I think Konosuba, I've always been on the record saying that I think comedy anime work better in dub.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Konosuba is a prime example of that, where the dub is just like so solid and that it just pairs perfectly with the physical comedy of it. And like all the voice actors go just the right amount of extra to keep things from getting like cringe, but while also being funny at the same time. And like the comedic timing of it all works really well too. And just, I think it's an excellent case of a dub for sure.
Yeah. I'm joking when I say you were safe with it. The Konosuba dub is good.
Mm-hmm.
The thing though is I'd rather watch the sub, where something like K-On! Or my backup pick, which would be Toradora, I will watch the dub because I think it's just as good. And why not listen to something in my native tongue?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Toradora was on my list as well for great dubs. Yeah. Because I think I feel like nowadays, sorry, I'm going to cut Jay off.
No, that's fine.
I feel like back in the, maybe even just 10 years ago, the gap was wider between dub and sub, but nowadays it's like surprisingly close. I'll like, for lots of shows, I'll flip back and forth between them. And honestly, they do such a good job of what Jay talked about earlier, where they match the sub voices, that they kind of have it down to a science now. But sorry, Jay,
yes and no.
Depends on the show, obviously.
Yeah.
But
well, go ahead. Oh, Jesus.
I know.
The storm is brewing.
Disconnected.
So I do have two here, and they're both for different reasons. But I think I'm going to jump off of the conversation topic Mike was talking about and talk about the show that I think kind of surpassed the sub in some ways.
Whoa.
And that's Code Geass for me.
Okay. Great dub.
I don't like Lelouch's Japanese voice. It's deep. It doesn't make sense that he's a high schooler, and he sounds like an old man. In the sub,
okay,
it sounds more believable that he's a high schooler, and it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, honestly, the fact that they took this property and made the voices sound just as or more suitable for the characters in the dub is great. I think that the fact that it is in English makes sense for the property that it is, because they're British, so English makes sense. And also just like the acting's good, and it's also in a mid 2000s anime, so I mean, for that,
Code Geass kind of goated.
Kind of great.
I need to rewatch it. The one thing I always criticize Code Geass for is that you always forget all the weird filler episodes that kind of make it a slog when you're actually watching it.
Yeah,
but looking back on it, it's a great anime.
Yeah. What I was going to say is the point that I want to point out with all of the dubs that we selected. These were not simul dubs. These were dubs that the show came out, and the actors and the directors and the recorders for the English dub were able to take their time and do a good job of dubbing these. That's kind of my problem with simul dubs, is often there's not enough time for the actors to give it their all, because they've got to get the episode out.
You got to push it out. Yeah.
You've got to get the episode out. So they just don't have the time. Like, and I don't hold that against them at all. They're all great actors. They all sound good. The recording quality is obviously good. They've got people who do a good job doing it. It's just, it doesn't reach that same peak that these other dubs do.
It's not the problem. Yeah, it's not the problem of the people actually in the weeds doing it. It's the problem of the schedule that was made.
Exactly.
That's
my thought. Anyway,
tight deadlines.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the show, and a lot of the times I feel like the 2-week gap is enough. That, like, you can definitely notice the difference when you're watching a show where it's like the true simul dub, like Kaiju is number 8 is this season, where like the dub comes out literally the exact same time as the sub. Whereas like I feel like the 2-week difference, like say for Konosuba this season, is enough to give them enough time to kind of prepare and think about what they're going to do.
A little bit more time. Yeah.
I think that's the only thing is then you're 2 weeks behind everybody else who's watching the sub, which sucks.
Yeah. I just noticed that all four of the dubs that we mentioned were all recorded after the show was already released. No, I yeah, that would be my main observation.
No,
K-on's-
that's a good I feel like that's a cool take.
Can I give a little post-credit scene for this topic on a good dub?
I'll
Yeah,
allow it.
keep going. Yeah,
Ghost Stories, fantastic dub.
for sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
Ghost
yeah.
Stories definitely deserves to be mentioned for its uniqueness, if nothing else.
Yeah, drive the bus driver.
Yeah, for the people who don't
digger.
like, we're all anime fans. Obviously, you're listening to an anime podcast, so you probably know this. But for those of you that don't know,
Right,
Ghost Stories is famous for basically just making up their lines. Right? They had the generic kind of plot down. They knew where they had to go, point A to point B, but they were allowed to basically just make up the lines. So they turned this horror in quotation marks horror anime into just like one of the most ridiculous comedies you've ever heard.
It was like a if in the Japanese version, I think it was like a very vanilla, like very honestly just boring plot to like a kid's horror anime. And I guess they just were given no instruction and no supervision, and nobody cared. So they're just like, just do what you want. And they just went with it so far and ridiculous that it's great. Just Google Ghost Story dub and you'll watch a clip on YouTube.
As long as it fit the basic outline of the show's plot, they were allowed to do basically whatever they wanted. And that is a relic of its time, because nowadays we will never see something like that.
No.
I wish. And I don't even mean like the subject matter, but I mean like
the way that it was done.
Freedom to do something like that. Like you might get like something here and there that's kind of a nod, but it won't be to the same degree.
It's almost like an abridged series.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like a real dub. I feel like the Kaguya-sama dub is probably as close as you're going to get these days, where they kind of, I'm a fan of when they take the dub and truly adapt it to the dub, where they kind of translate it a little more and take some liberties with it to make it work better in English. Whereas I know some people are like, no, I want you just to read the subtitles to me.
One-to-one.
I'm not a fan of that.
Well, I mean, like, I guess the best thing to describe for that, Mike, is wordplay. Like, Japanese wordplay doesn't make sense in English because the words don't like work like that.
Right. Like people always say the Monogatari series would
impossible
never be
to
dub.
I mean, even when you read the subs, they've got to like have subs of the subs to explain what the joke means.
And I finally started watching Train to the End of the World, and it's in the same vibe. Like there's subs on subs. It's so fast, and like it is hard to keep up with. Awesome anime, by the way. I wish I would have watched it to talk about it last week. Oh well.
oh well. Yeah. And just to point out, wasn't Kaguya-sama as well another one that came out after everything was recorded, or after the show came out?
I thought it was simuldubbed.
I think season 2 was, but season 1 I think came out well after it came out. Yeah.
Because that was still in the weird time when we didn't get, like, nowadays we get we're spoiled for dubs these days. But there, even just like when we started recording this, like even Kaguya-sama first came out in 2019, like really you didn't get dubs right away for a lot of shows, unless they were a big shonen property for the most part. But like a weirder take like Kaguya-sama definitely wasn't getting a dub right at the start. Nowadays everything gets dubbed though.
Yeah. No, I mean,
do you guys have any other great ones though?
Great.
I feel like
great
there's lots.
Dubs. Great dubs. I'm a defender of the Evangelion dubs that came out recently.
I had a feeling you were going to go there.
I thought they did a good job. I know a lot of people really hated it. But I mean, I think the hate's kind of died down. I don't think that my take is as hot as it was when the show came out.
No, definitely not.
I feel like people they understand now that it's more of a faithful translation to the source material. The whole like you're worthy of my grace scene, like that is kind of what Kaoru says. He's referring, like, he's angelic. He's angelic. You're Shinji. You're worthy of my grace as an angel. It just Unfortunately, people, it makes sense, and that's apparently.
I think the problem is that they took something beloved and changed it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even at that point. It doesn't matter if it's better or worse. it's just instantly worse, and it's not what it's beloved to.
Yeah.
People
anymore.
are
So
averse
then,
to change, I think, is
right.
what Mike is trying to say.
Yes, big time.
Some, for the most part, yeah, I would say. And the initial reaction is, I don't like it, and then they eventually come around.
Yeah,
it's better. Yeah.
I do like that the rebuild movies stuck with the original cast.
Okay, I didn't realize they were
kind
different, honestly.
It kind of separates the continuities more in my head as well. Like the Netflix dub now is its own thing. That's the dub of Evangelion, and then the rebuild movies have like the Spike Spencer Shinji,
Okay,
which the old people like me recognize. Yeah, I like the Evangelion dub. Yeah. Do you guys have any other ones?
I got one more I can bring up, unless Jay's got something quick.
Okay. Go ahead.
I wanted to bring up the other kind of big elephant in the room when we talk about dubs, and that's Ghibli dubs.
Dubs, yes.
Ghibli dubs are quite excellent because they take famous Western actors, not necessarily voice actors, generally not voice actors, and just kind of give them a bit more freedom with the role to truly act. And generally that kind of just brings their quality up quite a bit. The only thing I have an issue with Ghibli dubs is that they're just it's hard to transition back and forth between watching like a Ghibli movie and then going and watching like a more generic dub, because the Ghibli actors are like truly like they're stage acting.
Yeah.
Whereas like anime voice actors overact a lot. So it's just, there's a little bit of a transition there that you have to kind of factor in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One thing that I do want to point out with like Ghibli actors, especially like the kids, they've had a really good track record of like having kid actors before they were famous. Yeah. Kristen Bell is the big famous one, who played the witch and Kiki in Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yep.
Yeah, she wasn't a big name before, but the people at Disney, I mean, I'm assuming Disney is responsible for finding the voice acting for the Ghibli movies. Yeah, they do a good job, but they're not perfect. Billy Bob Thornton should not
phoned it in.
He phoned it in.
That's recorded on this podcast multiple times. Billy Bob Thornton phoned it in.
Mm-hmm.
That's our hill we're gonna die on.
Princess Mononoke.
You know who didn't phone it in though?
Who?
Robert Pattinson in The Boy and the Heron.
Really good. Boy and the Heron. Really good. Just great voice acting. The one that I thought of before Mike took that last one was the Fate series has great, honestly great dubs. Like Unlimited Blade Works dub is really good.
I think Bryce Papenbrook's reading of the mantra at the end, I am the bone of my sword, like that was really well done.
Bryce Papenbrook is underrated.
Better than the sub, because I don't like that it's in English in the Japanese version. Yeah. It's not as epic. It just sounds kind of
KG Tang did a good job too, to be fair. But I think about Bryce Papenbrooks because of how much of a climactic moment it is.
Yeah. Jay, do you have one to round us out?
Again, I'm not really as much of a dub guy, but like the one that popped into mind, and it's mainly because it's the show that got me into anime, was Sword Art Online.
That's a good dub.
I feel like if the dub wasn't as good or entertaining as it was, I probably wouldn't be an anime fan. So like I have to attribute me being an anime fan to that. And like again, Bryce Papenbrook, I don't see him getting a lot of roles anymore.
Kind of typecast, I think. He's got to be somebody who screams.
Well, he's also getting the Demon Slayer money too.
Yeah. But he killed it as Kirito, I think. Which I mean, it's not hard, but like to be fair,
I mean that's his role, right? Like that's what I think. That's what made him like. I don't want to say a household name because we've got but grading on a curve as we do.
Kirito, and then Aaron Yeager is the other big one.
Aaron Yeager,
that really kind of typecast him into the screaming shonen protagonist. Yeah.
And then he's also Rin from Blue Exorcist, and
great guy. Great guy though.
Great guy. Great guy. Yeah. No, I mean, listen, as much as Jay and I like to poo-poo on dubs, and Mike, poo-pooing, and Mike. We poo-poo Mike as well.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Strongly
as much as
covered in poo-poo.
as much as we like doing that, we've got reviews coming up.
I do it as a joke, to be fair. I mean,
don't.
no, it's
Yeah.
absolutely serious and real.
I
And
do it
Mike
earnestly.
is terrible for liking
I know
dogs.
Mike is personally, he should be
Listen.
ashamed.
You two we got the manga supremacist. We have the just supremacist in general.
Mhm.
And then we have me, the everyman. And do with that
everyman.
what you will.
Do with that what you will. Yeah. We do have reviews coming up. Next couple weeks, we're going to be reviewing Laid Back Camp, the first season. Don't worry, it's just the first season. You're in for a nice, comfy ride, though.
Mhm.
We've got Listener's Choice coming up as well, so you've got a couple more weeks to vote on that. Blue Spring Ride, Orange Banana Fish, and From Me to You, Kimi no Todoke. Vote everywhere. Your vote
and
counts.
when he
Rock
says
the
you
vote.
have a couple more weeks, it's one more week. You have one more week to vote. Well, after this comes out.
Okay. So that would be all of the housekeeping that needs to be done, I believe. Do you guys have anything that you want to say?
Thank you to all our patrons.
I've got my thing here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I was killing time. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of
Wait,
AniPro.
I had something to say.
Oh, go ahead.
I wanted to say thank you to you two for making me be a host on this podcast and then demoting me to guest again. I appreciate it.
You're demoted
Jay,
to temporary guest.
Jay, should we promote it? Do you want to make Mike like a regular host?
I think you should take that discussion off air. Yeah,
we'll talk about it
That's
off
not something
air.
you should talk about on air.
Yeah, no.
Okay, no, you're right. That's not very professional of me. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of AniPro. If you liked it, please leave a like, subscribe, leave a review, tell a friend about us. It helps us out. If you really like us, please considering supporting us on Patreon like these lovely, lovely people. Mr. Family Guy 36, Elijah Wood, Braindead, B-Dog, JJK was the best anime of 23, Peach, Frama, Kratos, Just Juzz, Mogmog, Freerens Feet. That always gets me.
Say it 5 times fast, Cole.
No. And Antonio Bustos. By supporting us on Patreon, you get access to all sorts of perks, and it really helps the show out. We're also on social media at AniProPod, and please join our Discord community to keep up with us and other listeners. Links to everything's in the description at our website, AniProPod.com. I think it's my turn this time to say, as we do at the end of every episode of the Anime Protagonist podcast, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.